the application of Islamic law in Thailand. Historical background. The application of Islamic law was first introduced during the time of King Chulalongkorn, King Rama V of the Chakri dynasty through Section 32 of the Rule of Administration in the Seven Principalities of 1901. Section 32 of the Rule of 1901 commanded to the effect that criminal code and civil code shall be applied to Thai citizens, except in civil cases concerning husband and wives, and inheritance where both parties are Muslim or a Muslim is a defendant, in which case the Islamic law shall be applied. The above provision clearly recognize the general application of Islamic family law and inheritance in southern Thailand. Abrogation of Islamic law in Thailand. The rule of 1901 was later abrogated in 1943 with the introduction of the Emergency Decree of 1943, which provided that all Thai citizens are subject to Thai law regardless of their religions. Reintroduction of Islamic law in Thailand. The abolition of Islamic law and inheritance had aroused ill feelings from the Muslims and caused a certain degree of dissatisfaction among them. Therefore, another new act was introduced in 1946. The act known as the Application of Islamic Law in Pattani, Narathiwat, Yala, Satun Provinces Act of 1946. The above Act of 1946 had reclaimed the application of Islamic family law and inheritance in the 4 provinces up to the present time. Essential sections of Act of 1946. Section 3 of this Act regulates that in deciding the civil case relating to family and inheritance of the Muslim in the court of first instance in the provinces of Pattani, Narathiwat, Yala and Satun, in which the Muslim is a plaintiff, defendant or the proposer of the application in the case that had no dispute, the Islamic law and inheritance shall apply in place of the civil and commercial code relating to such, except for the provision concerning prescription governing inheritance. This is no matter the ground of the case has happened before or after the enactment of this Act. Section 4. The trial of the case according to Section 3 shall be administered by Dato Yutitam or Godi and a civil judge. Dato Yutitam has the authority to consider cases according to Islamic law and sign his signature in the judgment file. The consideration of Dato Yutitam on the case according to Islamic law shall be final. The above sections of the Act of 1946 can be concluded that cases which are governed by Islamic law shall be based on the following conditions. 1. The case must relate to family or inheritance matters only. 2. Both litigants must be Muslim and residing in the 4 southern border provinces, namely Pattani, Narathiwat, Yala and Satun. The trial of Muslim cases on family and inheritance. Based on the Section 4 of the Act of 1946, the trial of Muslim cases on family and inheritance can be summarized as follows. 1. A case shall be adjudicated under the provincial court by a civil judge with the presence of one Dato Yutitam or Godi. 2. Authority of Dato Yutitam is to consider the case in the context of Islamic law, but not to decide the case, and to put his signature in the decision made by a civil judge. Administrative problems of the Islamic law in Thailand. First, the outdated code should be revised. Second, the absence of Sharia code. Third, the absence of the Islamic procedural law in the proceedings of Muslim cases. Fourth, the limited implementation of the Islamic family law and inheritance. The state efforts to develop the application of Islamic law in Thailand. On 11 to 19 February 2009, the representatives of the Southern Border Provinces Administrative Center SBPAC and the Advisory Council for Peace Building to SBPAC visited Sri Lanka and Egypt to learn how the Islamic law was enforced and implemented in Buddhist and Muslim countries. On 19 March 2009, Dr. Ali Goma Mohammed Abdel Wahab, Mufti of the Arab Republic of Egypt, delivered a lecture on historical developments and experiences of the Islamic law enforcement in Egypt. SBPAC, in cooperation with the Ministry of Justice, appointed a working group comprising of Dato Yuditam Muslim scholars to update Muslim code on the Islamic law and inheritance. SBPAC appointed another working group to study the problems of enforcement of the Islamic law and inheritance in order that the Act is enforced in accordance with Islamic principles for the sake of the people in general and Muslim in particular. Thank you for your kind attention. Wassalam.